your story and what went wrong with 2025. What can we expect of 2026? Vlad, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. I hope you will also ask me what went good, what went well in 2025, because we
Yeah.
also have some little good sides of crypto this year.
Yeah, this is a bit biased, you know, because for someone maybe it was a very good year, you know, not not
Yeah,
bad, not
that's
very year at
that's
all.
why I said we have very little parts which went good in crypto this year.
Okay, let me just check that we're live on X as well. Yeah, everything seems to be working. And as always, Dumitru. Hi, Dumitru. How are you doing? How is your vacation?
Yeah, my internet is not great, but so far so good. Application is okay. Yeah, for 2 minutes I'll do some technical stuff here behind the scenes. Just keep talking.
Okay.
I'll come back soon.
Okay, good, good. When you're ready, just give us a nod. Okay, so Vlad, for the first part, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your story. Uh, what you think is important for the community to know about you? How did you get into crypto? Everything really that you feel that will resonate with people.
Okay, how detailed should I go? How many minutes do I have for this part?
Whatever. Yeah, just
Okay,
just go
okay.
as deep as you want. You can start from year zero.
Okay, so I started doing online stuff at 13 years old in 2007 or something like this. When I stopped playing computer games, I started with creating blogs, which I monetized on Google AdSense, then creating channels, YouTube channels for children, for kids, where I was teaching them like colors and counting the numbers from 0 to 10 to 10. That was like the first way I made my first money, which was okay for that period of time. Then some of these opportunities closed, and I had to find some other ones. In 2015, I did Amazon e-commerce, but I didn't have too much cash flow to continue the business, to scale it up. So, okay, I said I was in the police academy in 2015, and I said, okay, I need something else which can bring me more revenue or like more profit, because doing like e-commerce with 5 to 10K dollars with 15% profit margins will not help me quit police academy or police in general. So I needed something else. And here is the part where crypto came into my life in 2017. It was definitely another world back then. Like crypto was so different,
Yeah.
and this is one lesson. This is one lesson we should learn from this year, that crypto is different. Even though we want to have like the same bull market as before, it's different, and we have to have a reality check in this direction. Um, some key aspects from my beginning of the journey are like I started with very low money because I don't come from a rich family. I'm totally the opposite, and I started investing like $100, $100 more, and all my money which I invested in crypto were like 5K, everything added in the first months. So I entered in like the summer of 2017. Back then I considered that I entered like very late. Now looking back, it was very early. If we talk about Bitcoin, I think it's still early. If we talk like on a major time frame, like tens of years. And one of the first investments, one of the first good investments which I made were like private sales of projects, including Chainlink. I'm sure all the people who listen to us today know about Chainlink, know about
Yeah.
Phantom, maybe Icon, maybe Elrond. I invested in these projects in private sale, and of course the gains were really good. The ROI was very big, and there were projects making 100x, 1000x. Now, maybe it seems like a lie or maybe like a story, but it happened. It happened with several projects, but not now. It was like 8, 9 years ago. And this is how I started with crypto, because first month I saw that I invested in Ripple, Bitcoin, Ethereum. It didn't grow too much, and I hear about ICOs like private sales, ICOs, and people were saying, it's a scam, it's very risky. I said, okay, let's look into it, and it was like asymmetric bet. I don't know if it's right in English, but it was asymmetric bet. So I can lose, let's say, $1 for investing, and maybe I can make a profit like more than $1. Maybe it can be 20, 50, 100. We have to say that the dilution was not as it is today. This is why I think altcoins are not performing well this cycle because of the dilution. Back then, we were going to conferences, trying to find projects to invest in them. There were very few founders because it was not so easy to create a project just like today. That's why when projects were launching, they were doing like impressive ROIs, like literally. Now people, if I speak to people who entered in crypto this cycle, they will not even believe me until they check the charts and until they check all these details.
Yeah.
And I try to, sorry, go on.
No. Continue.
Yeah, and this is the way I started in crypto. Like in the first months, I went deep into this private sales, ICOs. I got into some really good groups where we were invested in this type of projects. In total, until now, I think I invested in like 600 projects before they launched.
How many of them are still alive? Do you have a stat like that?
I think like 1 or 2 or 3% of them, even though by the time I invested in them, they were all like top projects. Now, if I am to check, like 97% of them are like dead, but they were like good projects at that time. But this is
Take
just
profits, or you still holding the
every
tokens?
time because I didn't have the money to hold even Chainlink. I sold first day, it was 5 or 10x. I sold first day. So same was with Phantom. It did like a 5, 10x first day. I sold it. I didn't have the money to just hold, so I just invested, sell, invest again, and repeat the process. Because back then we didn't have lockups. Only in 2020 or something like this, lockups started appearing. The first bull market, there were no lockups. That's why most of my private sales I invested in 2017. It was like maybe 2-3 investments per day or something like this. It was crazy. And now to move forward from this golden era, which was in the beginning, the bull market finished. I was in a place where I was thinking that I will never cash out to fiat. I never cash out one single dollar to fiat, but I managed to get to a portfolio like I think it was close to 7 figures or even above 7 figures before I cash out the first dollars, something like this. And at one point, the market started going down because of the bear market, but of course we didn't know about the cycles back then. And from my mindset of never cashing out crypto because I will pay my house and car with crypto and everything, after a few serious dumps on Bitcoin, the market was starting to look very scary, and I started cashing out because I was like, okay, this is getting serious. At least I should keep like at least a part of the money which I made because I didn't want to round trip because I worked so hard. I mean, it was so intense, 2017, so many opportunities compared to now when we have like very little opportunities. And I started investing in real estate, and this is also one lesson which I think is good to mention here. After every bull market, I put money into real estate, S&P 500, some money also back to Bitcoin, but I always try to get profits and put them aside in a safer asset. Every other bull market, of course, I try to ride the wave and see which opportunities I have, but always I'm staking some safe assets. Because I see a lot of people who are in crypto even older than me, I mean, even for a longer period than me, and they still don't have much because every bear market, they don't, every finish of the bull market, they don't cash out and they do a round trip and they do this all over again and they just get back to the same point again and again. And this, I think, it's an important lesson. Okay, now
They're trying to sell the top and they never get the top, and they just
maybe
wait.
they want to get to a very big point of their portfolio, and maybe that is never reached because Bitcoin doesn't care about your portfolio if you reached 6 figures or 7 figures. So this is a bad way of judging things. Like, okay, I will cash out when I will get to 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, 10 figures.
When do you propose people cash out? I mean, do you DCA out? When do you start DCAing out and so on?
Okay, I will tell you how I did it in this bull market in a few minutes. But in general, I try to look at the 4-year cycles, and when I see euphoria, of course, this cycle we didn't see euphoria in the cycle, but I cashed out based on some other aspects, mainly also this 4-year cycle. But in the past 2 cycles, I cashed out during euphoria when I see that even the barber shop and even the guys at the service where I repair my car, they try to give me advice on what should I buy. Then I understand that it's something bad there and a correction is due. So of course I didn't sell at the top, but at least I sold like on the way down or on the way up, a lot closer to the top than to the bottom. Every time I do DCA out, because you can never know exactly what happens. And now fast forward to the second bull market, to my second bull market, 2020, 2021. In the meantime, I started doing e-commerce again because now I had the capital and I started doing some good numbers on e-commerce. Then when the bull market started again, I switched again my attention to crypto. But I invested way less in private sales because I see that now everybody wants to create his own project. I see some projects not doing good, so this was one good thing I did, stopping investing in private sales. I had some good projects back then. Elrond was one of them. Probably all the Romanian guys know this project. It did like from the pre-sale, it did like 1000x, something like this, to the top, maybe a little bit more, something like this. And I had some other ones. Even Solana was a good one for me last cycle. But in terms of percentage, I didn't do as much as the first bull market because, to be honest, I didn't think that it will be so powerful as the first one. But still, it was a powerful bull market, even the last bull market, like the 2020,
Compared to this
2020.
one,
Yes,
was it
yeah, I don't have much to say about this bull market, but it was okay for me. I made some money and again, take some money, I put it into real estate, and then repeat. Then we had the bear market, and I started accumulating Bitcoin again. Every time in the bear market, I only accumulate Bitcoin, nothing else. And then when I see the bull market going up, and we had confirmations of bull market, I said, okay, now I have to start buying altcoins. And what I did was I saw the FUD with Solana. I saw the FUD is no longer there. I'm not a tech guy, but I talk with some guys which have validators on Solana. And I was asking them, look, I like Solana. I made some good money with Solana last bull market. Last bull market, I invested in Solana because I missed the private sale, which most of my friends did. But I think I was busy with e-commerce stuff and something like this, and it distracted me from crypto in exact that period. And in 2020, 2021 bull market, I invested in Solana because I missed the private sale. I made some good money, and after all the FUD with, last that bull market, in 2023, I think Solana started picking back up from $8, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a good opportunity. The transaction which were stuck, this problem started disappearing because they were starting to think about Fire Dancer, and the tech was solving the issues. Also, most of the issues were like about to be corrected or something like this. And I was seeing this, but the FUD was still present in public and in retail. I asked some people which are techie, and they told me, look, Vlad, all these congestion problems and blockchain problems, technical problems will be solved soon. And I started buying Solana around like $20. Of course, it was like 3x from the bottom. I was not that early, but I put more than half of my portfolio in Solana. Now looking back, it looks like being lucky, but I think it was like a lot of research back then, and I think it was not luck, or maybe not just luck. And this was my winner for this bull market. Apart from this, only Bitcoin was good because all the other altcoins we know they were bad. Of course, I also had some other altcoins which were not doing so good. But this Solana bet made it up for all the other losses. And now getting back to present, 2025, in January, I sold all my Solana position, which went to 80% of my portfolio. I post about this on my Instagram, where I have like all the track record in the highlights there, and also on my YouTube, which is in Romania. So maybe just Instagram is relevant for your followers. And I sold like 80% of my portfolio, which was that Solana position in January, when everybody was like, okay, Trump is coming into play and it will pump our bags. But the reason I sold, it was not because of euphoria, which we barely had a little bit of euphoria. It was a little bit of because of this, a little bit because of the market cycles, because we were approaching like the end of the 4-year cycle, but we were not already there. The reason I sold was because I saw Trump coming. It was the inauguration or something like this, and everybody was expecting their bags to pump because of Trump, but nobody was expecting to buy new altcoins. So everybody was waiting to sell. Nobody was waiting to buy. I saw this, and when I saw that Trump is coming, and we just see extraction after extraction, and the price was not going up. I was like, okay, we have all the news. We have US going crypto friendly. We have Trump betting on crypto and Bitcoin, and the price was not going up. It was just staying there and then dumping. I said, okay, I have a 10x profit on this big position with big volume. Okay, I have enough. Even though it gets like to 1,000 per Solana, it's okay. I just take profits, just like every other bull market. Maybe I will be considered an idiot, but profit is profit. So I do this. I sell like
motto, mantra. Profit is profit.
yeah. Nobody died there, or nobody hanged himself from taking profits. So yeah, it is a good way of looking at things. But now it's easy to say about this, and it's look, oh Vlad, what good decision you took. But I started selling 10% when it was like 290, and then it started getting a little bit down, and so I sold like 10% every $10 of it getting down, from 2090 to 2010, something like this. 290 to 210 DCA out, and average was like 240, something like this. I have it all on my YouTube and Instagram. And back then, it looked like a very bad move, because everybody told me, "Oh, you are a panic seller. What are you doing? We're just starting out. Trump is just starting here to pump our bags." And to be honest, the amount of critics I got, I was almost thinking that I did the wrong mistake, because everybody told me I'm wrong. At one point, the market pumped so much. It dumped a little bit. I was selling, and after I sold like most of my Solana position, we had like a very, very big pump. Trump did some declaration or something like this, and it made the market pump so like Solana pumped like 10-20% 24 hours, and I was like, fuck man, I did something very bad. Now I cannot buy again, because I will just not follow my principles. But what if Solana is going to like 1,000, 2,000, and I do a mistake? But I still, okay, I said, let's wait, let's not act on the moment, and I said, let's wait. But 1 week, 2 weeks passed, and then my decision turned out to be really true, and even now it was a good decision. Apart from this, I didn't do many moves in crypto. What I did, like a part of my Solana profits, I put into the stock market, S&P 500, when the S&P dropped a lot in the spring. And also in real estate, I bought some warehouses in my home country. And a part of the USDT I will just keep to buy Bitcoin next year. But we will get to that point soon. Okay, now I sold Solana, bought S&P with a part of the profits, then mainly doing nothing. Mainly on some pumps, I was trying to de-risk on some altcoins, which were like, of course, not in profit. But anyways, my portfolio was like 10% Bitcoin left and 10% altcoins left, something like this. So I didn't do much until now, just a little bit of taking some profits along the way, along the year, when I see some pumps, but it was just to get out of positions with very little loss or maybe small profit, depending on the investment. But of course, some of them I couldn't get out on profit. And this is also one lesson, I think, because a lot of people say that investing is like an activity which you do like day to day. Every day you have to click there, buy, sell. No, that's trading. Investing should be like simple. Okay, you can do research like a lot. That's not a problem. But investing should be like simple, like dumb simple. We have principles in the stock market which date like hundreds of years ago. In crypto, like already like more than 10 years. I think principles are like the same. So I didn't do much this year except from this. I did some like OTC deals. Maybe you are familiar with this. But now with the market going down, a lot of scams happened in this zone, and I lost like quite a lot of money on that part, which I think I will recover with like police and stuff. But I also tried these deals. Overall, it's okay, but not as I wish. And now we are here, like end of the 2025. Most of my crypto portfolio, of course, is in stables or like invested in some safe assets. And now we are on the spot where we can talk about the next year plans for the future, because we talked enough, I think, of the past. And
Yeah,
for
you
me,
mentioned several times your
please.
principles and investing principles. You mentioned this word. Can you tell us what are they? Like name them. For example, you said that you didn't buy Solana after you sold, even though you kind of considered
Yeah,
it, wanted it, because it
yeah,
was against your principles. What principle was it against?
yeah, of course, these principles usually come after mistakes I've made, because I can listen to like podcasts and read books and whatever, and you will never learn these principles, or you will never respect these principles as you will respect them after you do some mistakes and after you lose some money. Mistakes I have done in the past are like, okay, I sold for a good profit, and then I see the price dumping, and says, okay, I have made a very good decision. Then the price pumps again. I said, okay, let's buy again and let's ride the wave again. But it's just like a little pump, and then it dumps to zero, and then you just round trip and you lose your entire profit. So I have done this with a few times in the past years, and it's okay. I'm not doing it again. Of course, not with big sizes, and that's the lesson I respected there. Of course, we are not robots. We do mistakes sometimes, even now after like a lot of years of experience in investing. We do mistakes because we are emotional creatures, and even though we leave emotions aside, sometimes we have bad investment thesis, and you cannot win all the investments. For example, like this cycle, I had like more investments which were like on minus than investments which are on profit. But the investments, maybe let's say 10, 15 investments in crypto, which were like on a loss, were like on 5% of my portfolio, maybe 10% of my portfolio. So the bigger part of the portfolio outweighed those losses. What I will do in the future, I think I will not have the courage to move like a big part of my portfolio into some altcoins because of this dilution, which we can see.
When you say dilution, what do you mean?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand or don't want to understand what I say about dilution, because most of them are very optimistic for their bags. And a lot of people say that most of the money is concentrated in the top 200 coins. But they forget that not all the people have only holdings from top 100 or top 200. When I talk about dilution, it's very simple. It's not something complicated. Just imagine the past bull markets. We had, let's say, in 2017, let's say 10 coins and $10 million. Just examples. Last bull market, we had 20 coins, 20 projects with, I don't know, $20 million. Let's say like this. Now we have 2000 projects, maybe with $20 million. Like same amount of money. If you check all the charts, now we can talk about like real numbers, not just examples to explain you. If you check others, which is the money in the crypto market cap, excluding top 10 from CoinMarketCap, we have less money in the altcoins market than we had last bull market. But we have way more projects, like 100 or like 1,000 more crypto projects than we had last bull market. I talk about this dilution for the past one and a half years. And a lot of people still don't think it's something which applies, but you will see that months will go and altcoins will still suffer. And until we see a reset, like a complete reset, and this dilution disappears, we will not see a proper altcoin season, because there is no amount of money which can pump this amount of projects and this amount of tokens like it happened in the past cycle. Because you don't only have new projects which are launching like every day, even meme coins or serious projects, but you also have the dilution, like the amount of but you also have the emissions of the tokens of the old projects, which they only have their only business is to sell tokens. They don't have a revenue model, they don't have a business model, they don't have profit, they don't have anything. So their only business is to sell tokens, which dilutes the value of the investor's portfolio. So I'm not only saying this as a pessimistic view. I can even see the solution for this. But before seeing the solution and being realistic, we have to understand which is the reality. The solution for this would be like a reset, where only projects which have a product, users, a revenue model, even profit, when only this type of altcoins will still be alive, there will be like same scarcity as it was in 2017 or around that area. But until then, we have like a lot of projects with not really scammers. I don't know. I don't want to call it like this, but we have like plenty of projects which don't have a business. They just create like some good marketing around the project, but their only mean of existing is like selling their tokens to dilute the value of their investors' portfolio. So I think we need a reset, and I think we are in the middle of this reset, just like it was like the dot-com bubble. And once we are done with this reset, probably just a few projects. And when I say a few projects, I talk about like maybe 5% of the total projects will still be alive, like the real projects which have something to build, users, blah, blah, blah. And when we just remain with these quality projects, then we have same amount of money, maybe less, like the past cycles, but a bigger scarcity of projects where we can place our money. So I think this is the only solution for altcoins to grow. And also, this is also the reason for which I think altcoins didn't perform this bull market. Of course, maybe there are some other reasons. This is not the only reason, but I think this is not a popular reason, and it's an unpopular opinion, which people still don't understand or trust or accept. But I think optimism is not a good strategy of investing. And I think we need to be realistic and optimistic only when we have the reason to be so.
Yeah, bear markets are a gift in disguise. I mean, we're cleaning the market of underperforming assets, underperforming companies, and the capital concentrates in a small number of projects. And I'm sure this will happen next year. We'll have maybe 90 to 95% of projects wiped out. And this will be good for people who understand. But for people who don't understand, they will think it's over. There will be no more alt season. We shouldn't invest anymore in projects. And that will be the time when you actually should invest, because this will be the time when the market is clean of underperforming projects and looking for capital, and people who had the courage to invest then will probably have the biggest gain.
Yes, and if you want me to talk about the strategy for the future, I can continue with how I plan to structure my next months, maybe even years.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about 2025 first, maybe. So, do you think this was the only reason why we didn't really have a proper altcoin season, the dilution of the market?
Yes, and we can add some other ones, like, we have ETFs, the Bitcoin ETFs and other ones. In the
Mm-hmm.
past, after Bitcoin pumped, people moved to altcoins to get some bigger returns, right? Now, if you put money into ETFs, it's a lot harder to get money back into crypto. So I think this cycle of money was somehow we have added friction, and of course, money from ETFs didn't go to altcoins anymore like it used to happen. Um, of course, nobody could say exactly that this will be the scenario, but we had some signs. Um, Other reasons, maybe I told you, maybe people just figured it out that some altcoins, some projects are overvalued, like they don't offer anything, but they are valued at like hundreds of millions FDV, maybe even billions. And some of the projects, I don't know, I don't want to name names, but I saw some statistics like Scroll and some other serious projects, not scams. Like we are talking now about serious projects, which produce a profit or revenue of like a few dollars or tens of dollars per day, and they
Mm-hmm.
have LTVs about hundreds of millions or billions even. So I think they are getting to their fair value somehow. So it's not only a problem with the scam projects which don't have anything to do or to offer to this space, but even the serious projects are like fairly overvalued. So probably the market now it's finding its right value, like its fair value.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. And we were talking with Dmitry in our editions of this conversation. But there are some signs in a way, like there are, and maybe this is one of the reasons why we didn't see so many projects launch as well, because in the last bull cycles we had projects for every imaginable and unimaginable and science fiction use case, and we would bring it on blockchain and we will make it better and we will make it decentralized and we will make it blah blah blah. Solutions that we really didn't need, and it really didn't work on blockchain. And with the projects that are launching now, like the serious projects, like the projects that come from teams that build stuff, are more focused on use cases that blockchain is good for, like RWAs or stable coins or DeFi or solutions where we have uh, a use case in a way. Do you see this as maybe a dawn for what you said, like finding this? Yeah, tell us what you think about this.
I think these type of serious projects which you are mentioning, of course, are the good part of crypto, especially the RWA or some other projects which are creating something which can really gain traction and adoption. But still, this is like a small percentage of the total
Mm-hmm.
crypto sphere. And I think before we see some real upside for altcoins or for the market even in general, I think we need to finalize this reset, which I think is the bear market which we are already in. I also got like a lot of hate for talking about bear market starting since October, just like I did with selling Solana. So usually this is a good sign for me when I do these unpopular opinions. Yes, I think can we can just be patient for what is to come. And as I said, investors don't have to do some actions every day.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, I can talk more about this part of 2025 if you have some
Yeah,
certain questions.
please.
Uh, I mean, I didn't do many actions here, so this is why maybe you can put some questions, like if you have some curiosities. Um, or maybe I can switch to talking about future plans for the next months or years.
Just go ahead. When we have questions, we'll just jump in.
Okay, sure. So now we reached like present moment. Now I'm waiting with some USDT stablecoins on the side. I think we are
Can I
already
just
in the.
interrupt you for a second about the
Sure, please.
USDT thing? Aren't you afraid to keep like all of your cash in stablecoins? I mean, they are stablecoins, but they have risks. I mean, remember
Yes,
USDC depeg a couple of years ago? I mean,
I remember.
it's kind
Yes.
of risky. Maybe in fiat.
Yeah, you are right. That's a good question. That's why I don't keep all my liquidity in USDT or stablecoins. As I said, I put some of my profits from this bull market into S&P 500. Some of them I bought some warehouses like real estate. I have also some fiat left from these profits, and some of the profits I kept like in USDT, USDC, which will be good for buying Bitcoin next year. But yes, I'm never exposing with like a lot of money to a single asset or stable coin or a single niche. So usually I try to diversify. Like for assets, for stable coins, for platforms, I keep some on the exchange, some on the ledger, some on MetaMask, some on Rabi, whatever. So I split them because the risk is real. Usually in the middle of the bear market, a lot of things crack in crypto, just like with UST and Luna and some other ones, like FTX, even exchanges crack during this type of hard times. So yeah, I don't keep like most of the money in stables.
Yeah, that's interesting. We talk about diversification and putting your eggs in more than one basket. People will tell you, well, it's easy for you to say that because you already had your big investments, and it's easy to diversify when you have what to diversify. But what would you say of this strategy for people that don't have a big portfolio? Would you do the same if you would have a smaller portfolio?
Yeah, that's a good question because I get it almost every day. Everybody tells me, "Oh, you buy Bitcoin and Solana because you have money. We want to buy some projects which are below 1 cent that will grow a lot, and we will also be rich and we will make good profits." Partially, it is good because, of course, you get on riskier assets in order to get bigger potential of profit. But in crypto, I think people are focusing too much on this because just let's check the history. And also, I think we can talk a little bit more on diversification after I tackle this subject. So for people with not so much money, just calculate the ROI of Bitcoin this cycle, almost 8x in 2 years, 2 years and a half, something like this. Is it enough to make from a smaller amount of money a good amount of money? I think yes. Now let's see the past bull market. We had 23x in the past bull market. In the other bull market, we had like 100x or so. Then if we look to the other bull market in even far away from us, it was like, I don't know, a few hundred x, like 600x or something like this. Now let's compare Bitcoin's ROI to altcoins ROI. And this bull market, altcoins didn't really perform above crypto. Maybe not even 1% of them, if we are realistic. Most of them were like on losses. And if we look at the last bull market, it's the same. Bitcoin did like 23x, something like this, 3,000 to 69. How many altcoins did 23x? A decent amount, but still they didn't do like not a lot of altcoins did like very good compared to Bitcoin. Now let's look to 2017 bull market. Bitcoin did like 100x or so, and altcoins, not a lot of altcoins outperform Bitcoin. So the people who are saying this are somehow right, but if you look from my perspective, I'm also somehow right because not a lot of altcoins usually outperform Bitcoin during the bull market. And we talk about the bull market because that's the period when both of them grow. In bear market, we don't know we don't have anything to compare. So It's true, people want riskier assets, which went really well until this cycle. Of course, nobody could predict this exact situation that altcoins went so bad this cycle. We had some signs. I started talking about dilution last year, but of course, I didn't have the crystal ball to just say, okay, short all the altcoins and don't buy any altcoin. So I had some signs, but nobody could say exactly, of course.
Yeah,
And if we are to continue the talk on diversification, because every time I have some losses, some fails, either in business or investing or whatever, I think every time this gets us back to balance and diversification. And of course, you cannot tell somebody who has $100 to invest in, I don't know, S&P 500 and some real boring stuff. But once you get to a point, I think diversification is very good because um, when you put like all your money into a single stuff, and if you are, especially if you're not young anymore, you risk too much. And I'm big on diversification. I have two classes of diversification. I have my net worth. Maybe this explanation doesn't apply straight now to the people, but I think as an end goal and in the future, I think it helps them really good. So I have one, the net worth, my entire net worth diversification. I split them in three, like high risk, mid risk, and low risk. Usually I want high risk and mid risk to occupy like most of like 2/3 of the pie chart. And of course, the risky part is mainly in crypto or something like this. And also, if people don't have other investments, they can also only rely to like the pie chart of their crypto portfolio. When they have all the crypto portfolio in risky assets, of course, it can also go bad and they can have big losses. That's why usually with Bitcoin, having it in your portfolio as an anchor, I think it always helped as an anchor to balance your portfolio, and I think it will always be like this. So a lot of people say, okay, now you should buy a lot more altcoins to get your to DCA and get your average price lower, which is correct for a few altcoins, which will get back like, I don't know, Solana, BNB, and maybe 20, 30 other altcoins. But if we look back, uh, we know that 99 of the altcoins go to zero. And I was also criticized for having this opinion because, of course, people want to hear that we will go to moon, and they don't like to hear this, and I don't like to give wake-up calls like this. But in this situation, a lot of people are putting like more they can do into altcoins, which will never recover. So
But
I think
even
this
those who recover,
diversification
they
balance
have
thing is not only
99%,
for like people with
95%.
money. Sorry?
Dumitru, can you repeat? We didn't hear you.
I think I lost my internet. I mean, even those who recover, if those 20 altcoins who recover, they still lose 95% of their value approximately in the bear market. So it doesn't make sense to buy them yet.
Yes, I will tell you my strategy for this in a few minutes. A lot of people don't understand that when an asset drops by 90%, it needs a 10x grow in order to get to break even. That's also one thing that people don't understand. Of course, we didn't know that it will be so bad for altcoins this bull market, but most of the rules are somehow the same with having some Bitcoin in our portfolio. Just imagine this boring diversification rule, which I told you about, could have helped like almost all the investors to be at least on a small profit. Like let's say you have a quarter or maybe half of your portfolio in Bitcoin, which is boring, of course, but for some people. But just imagine you did like not an 8x on Bitcoin this cycle, because maybe you don't buy low and sell high. Of course, nobody can do this, but maybe you do like a 4x, and this will help you even if you lose all your altcoin portfolio, it goes to zero. You are still on profit overall because you have your Bitcoin there. So this is why I usually try to be to have balance, to be diversified, because if my risk side of the portfolio it's a little bit smaller, then even though I lose and the altcoins are not going the direction I want to, then Bitcoin, S&P 500, real estate, gold, whatever you name it, will cover for the losses. But if we have 95% altcoins and 5% Bitcoin or 0% Bitcoin, and in this case you can put in exchange of Bitcoin some other assets which I mentioned, then you lose, let's say, 90% of the portfolio with these losses. Of course, a safe asset cannot grow that much to compensate for that big loss of the risky part of the portfolio.
You mentioned S&P a few times. Do you think it's still a good time to invest in S&P 500 at this moment? Or
Depends. It depends. If you look like on a 10, 20, 30 year time frame, you don't look at it. You just buy weekly and monthly and you don't care. Now looking at this year, I told you I invested in spring, and after the dump, I invested until it had like a new all-time high or something like this. Sorry, and right now, of course, it's all-time high, so it's not. If you're not underexposed to this type of asset and if you're not in a hurry, of course, you want to wait for some dumps, especially if you're not looking on a very, very long time frame. So at one point, we will have dumps on S&P 500, just as we had usually. It's not an asset which you want to buy now fast because it's a good opportunity. But I'm not talking about it as buy now. I'm talking about it as an end goal, about it as being a good way for diversification, balancing your portfolio. And I think everybody should have, like, depending on the size of the portfolio, because of course if you have $100, you don't put it all in S&P 500. But in the beginning, I think Bitcoin should be the anchor, the balance of your portfolio. And then afterwards, I think everybody should also add S&P, because we will always risk. Even in the next bull market, I will also have altcoins, and I will always like some risk in my portfolio because I come from a background where I risk it all in ICOs and stuff. Of course, I like some risk, and in the next bull market, even though I see the situation this bull market with altcoins, next bull market I will invest in altcoins again, but it will be like 10 to 20% of the portfolio and not more. I will not do the same like this bull market with Solana or something like this, because I will be a little bit more cautious than I was. If altcoins will do
Will you be more cautious because you already reached like a level where you don't see the point of risking too much, or do you think that the market changed so fundamentally that altcoins are doomed in a way? Why will you be more cautious?
Good question. Good question. I think it's a little bit of both, but we will focus on the other side. I think one of the most important reasons for me doing this is the fact that I understand that market changed, and I don't want to invest in a market which I want to be. Like I don't want to imagine what I want of the market.
trade
I'm
the
investing in a
market you have, not the market you want, right?
Exactly. I was about to say this, but I didn't remember the exact words. So first things first, you need to understand which situation is now, and the romantic part of crypto. We have to understand that it somehow ended with institutions coming in, and now it's a lot of player versus player. In the past, it was a lot easier, a lot more opportunities. So first of all, I understand this, and I understand that crypto is no longer like in the beginning, in like emergent market, gold rush, how it was in the last markets. So some people don't want to accept this. For me, I want to accept and understand the situation, because otherwise I will risk my money and I will lose based on my fake optimism. So this is the first thing. On the other side, I understand there is still potential. I understand that we still have cycles and we still can make money in this. But I will do this with 10-20% of my portfolio. Even though I lose like 20% of my portfolio on altcoins, I get scammed and I lose it all. Bitcoin, which will be like probably around 80% of my portfolio, it will take like maximum 1 or 2 years for it to erase all the losses and be in profit. based on what we have in the past. So if altcoins go so well and I am put in a situation where all my people, all my friends tell me, look, Vlad, you were underexposed to altcoins. It's still okay, 20% of the portfolio. If they do like 10, 20x, like it used to do, I'm still okay. 20% of my portfolio with 10, 20x, it's okay. I don't regret not putting more. Uh, but on the other side, if it goes very, very well, on the other side, if it goes very, very wrong or bad, then I'm covered. Then and this can apply in like a lot of stuff, not only like altcoins or crypto.
You mentioned the diminishing returns already, like previous bull market Bitcoin had 23x, this time 8x, maybe next bull market, I don't know, 5x, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe less.
That's what I'm expecting. 5, 6x, something like this, yeah.
From the low, we will have probably next year. But at the same time, the losses in the bear market for Bitcoin, and I'm not talking about altcoins, is also getting diminished. We had maybe 90% in 2017, 80%. I think in the last bear market, we have around 75% drawback from the highs.
In the past,
Maybe now we will have less than 70, I don't know, 65, who knows, which will get Bitcoin close to 50K.
Yeah,
What's your
so I can give you my opinion on this because I have a very complex strategy on this. So I will start buying Bitcoin when it reaches 50% drawdown from all-time high, which is around 63 or so K. I talk about percentages because when I first came with this strategy, it was like half a year ago. So maybe we had like new all-time highs, but it's simple. 50% drawdown. I start DCA every week, every single week, as low as it goes. Usually it should just stay a few months in this process, like in this bottom of the bear market. I also think we have diminishing also drawdowns, not just diminishing profits. And I think we will still continue with the 4-year cycle, which is still intact. I still think that we will have the bottom next year, 1 year after this peak. But I think it will surprise a little bit people because this is what usually happens, even now with this top. And I think the bottom will happen a little bit earlier. So I'm not waiting for 75% to buy Bitcoin because I will do like a big move in order to buy like a big amount of Bitcoin. And I don't want to lose this opportunity just by waiting for it to go to 75% discount. So I will start by 50% discount, which I'm quite sure it will happen because a few days ago we had like 37, 38 discount, which is like 80K or so. So I will start buying 50% drawdown and then every week DCA, DCA, DCA. The lower it goes, the more I put in. And then I will wait for the 4-year cycle to get to maturity and I will sell a bunch. What I will do, altcoins I will not buy until I have a confirmation of bull market. In the bear market, I will only buy Bitcoin.
Okay.
Do
Dimitri,
you sell all your Bitcoin?
No, usually I don't do this. Sometimes I did take profit, like all of it, because I had some opportunities. But as a rule, I try not to sell it because nobody can just point the bottom and the top and do it for like 10, 20 years. So in order not to stay sidelined, I will just sell maybe half of it, or maybe even less, who knows. But usually, as a general rule, half of it I try to sell on top, half of it keep for the rest.
Okay. For the last part, it's clear that you still believe in the fact that we have cycles and we have like an ongoing conversation in the community, in the crypto community, I mean, that argue that the 4-year cycle is dead and that we have a super cycle. Tell us, why do you think that is not the case?
Yes, so when you hear super cycle, that's when you sell. That's when I sold this year. Until you see like a change of trend or until I see like a new all-time high from now on, let's say in the next months, I don't have any reason to like change. We clearly follow all the patterns like with very big precision, like daily, with a few days precision. And we have like a lot of principles which are still in place. I usually use an indicator which is called yearly rolling VWAP. Maybe you know about it. It's not so popular, which shows me every time a bull market starts and the bull market ends, and when a bull market ends. And I think a lot of people are struggling to be right and are struggling to talk a lot. What I try to do is I try to make money. I don't try to be right, and usually we should focus on this. And to get back on the super cycle discussion, I think a lot of people talk about super cycle because this is what they want, not what they consider. So I think a lot of people are in big losses or like not enough profits, and it's okay. This cannot end like this. Until Arbitrum goes to at least $1, the market cannot go to bear market. But this is not the correct analysis of the market. The market doesn't care about your altcoin, which is not which has not pumped enough. I think everybody tries to find reasons for their own thesis. Like if you are looking for like yellow cars on the side on the street, you will see. And now we also try to confirm our thesis, like investment ideas. And if you want to find bullish confirmations, you can find. We have all the bullish news in the world. If you want to find bearish ideas, you can also find the same. So I think this should not be per reason. All the time we can find both ways. But what I care about most is not to round trip, because that's the biggest mistake people can do. And don't just focus as an investment strategy on optimism. Optimism is not an investment strategy. And I think unless things start looking different, like having new all-time highs in the next weeks or months, I think I will just stay to my opinion.
Okay. Dumitru, you want to add something? I know that you are very fond of this topic.
Yeah, of course. I'm also believing I still think that 4-year cycle is intact, and super cycle is still a bullshit. But that side also has some good arguments. I must say. Why it's different? It's because the quantitative easing is starting, and usually you have the altcoin when you have the quantitative easing. So they say that's why we didn't have the altcoin season now, because we had a quantitative tightening and the rate was up, and that's why we didn't have an altcoin season, and we'll have it next year.
Open the light, okay? Just 1 second. But go on. I will listen. Just 1 second.
Yeah, and they say that we will have it next year because we will have the conditions then, right? Money printer, rate going down, quantitative easing, chairman of the Fed will be changed, midterm year, and Trump will pump money in the economy to get the votes and so on. These are the arguments, and I can say that some of them are not valid. Some of them are, but I'm not sure yet if all these arguments and all of this, if it happens in the U.S. economy, will still be able to change the 4-year cycle of crypto. I'm not sure about this.
Yes, but even for people who think about super cycle, I think even if I would be like a fan of a super cycle, I would still take some profits, because my opinion can be wrong. And when I started talking about bear market like a few months ago, I said, okay, look, I took profits in January. I let 20% because I said, okay, maybe I'm wrong. And then a few months ago, like in Q4, I said, okay, I'm selling a little bit more, but I'm still letting like 5%, because maybe it moons, maybe it will be a super cycle and I'm all wrong. So I still let some moonbacks there. And also the people who are talking about super cycle should think like this. Maybe they are wrong. Why are they going all in on this super cycle theory? Because every bull market, this super cycle trend was like also another top indicator. In crypto, people like to talk a lot, especially on Twitter, because here you have all this gossiping, chit-chatting, and everybody flexing their opinions. But overall, I think people should focus on making money and more than being right. And also, they should try to be okay with both ways, because at some point you can be comfortable with both ways. For example, after I sold my Solana bag, even if it went like 2x after that, I was like, okay, it's okay, I still have profits. Now, I told you in the last part of 2025, I still had some part of the crypto portfolio, smaller part. If I'm right, it's very good. If I'm not right and market pumps very, very high,
Mhm.
I still have a part, so I'm not all out of the market. Of course, you cannot go always 50-50 to be like, but I think there are ways of diversifying even in this direction in order not to be like all in on the super cycle or the other way.
Yeah, so you have a very sound money management, wealth management strategy, and I think for a lot of people that will hear you, they would say this is like stuff that we all know, but it's stuff that it's old school in a way, and everyone knows, but very few do this. Do you have maybe like a strategy or some advice for people on how to implement the stuff that they know that are right, but are struggling mentally to do right?
Yes, I think you pointed it well. I think I didn't say anything like a secret or something, because usually in investing you don't have any secrets. It's out there, it's happening for like tens, hundreds of years. What can be like a secret can be like try to focus like on a certain niche in crypto. Usually, crypto gives you opportunities to make money. Like we have the BRC trend at one point, then we had the NFTs, and at one point we had the private sales and stuff. Then this cycle we had the on-chain stuff which happened, then the meme coins. So what I think in the future, the average investor will not make money. Uh, who will make money will be the people either who have like manipulation, control, and whatever, which is not us, or people who have certain knowledge on a certain niche in crypto and they develop a certain strategy. The usual people who buys who buys Arbitrum or like some random coins, they will not make profit because that's how the market goes. So the opportunities will be less and less, and I think they need to focus on some niche. So apart from all that this general knowledge, which probably everybody knows, but now I understand that some people know everything, but they don't really apply it. But apart from that, like some special stuff, I think from now on, and even this cycle applies this lesson, they need to focus on some stuff. I have friends who focus on airdrops for some time. They did really good profits. I have some friends who focus on trading. This is not really a good niche because you don't really make good profits on trading long term, but you had the on-chain stuff, which was also good. So I think one important thing is to run from what everybody does, especially for the higher risk part. For the general part, which is like low risk, Bitcoin, S&P, blah, okay, you can do. But in crypto, if you want to make money, especially from now on, you have to find like some unique opportunities where the retail is not there yet. I told you some trends which happened along this cycle. Some of them I managed to find early, some of them not. Um, but even though I said these principles, people are just, oh, you look tired, you sound boring. Even in the first months of this year, when I bought S&P and I the risk from crypto, everybody told me, okay, Vlad, tell us something new. This is just some old guys bullshit. I sold Solana 10x, then I bought S&P at a very good discount, which happened. And also, um, when you tell people at the end of the bull market to take profits, it's also, they say, oh, it's boring. Also, in the bear market, everybody knows that in the bear market you should buy Bitcoin and only Bitcoin, and you should buy it because it goes back up. And I can remember last bull market telling to like a lot of friends and people who follow me. They asked me, okay, what should I buy? And I said, okay, I'm just buying Bitcoin. They tell me, Vlad, you know crypto, you are experienced in crypto. Why are you telling me to buy Bitcoin? I already know this. But I was like, I'm just buying this. And they tell me, okay, give me something else. Which altcoins
They
you
didn't
like?
believe you.
Well, not even me. I think it's just a general way of things happening. And
Yeah.
I think they wanted some like magic sauce. And they told me, look, Vlad, you have experience. How can you tell me to buy Bitcoin? And of course, this is not like the response to like every crypto problem. But sometimes the boring stuff is not really bad stuff. But if you want some like high returns, you go to like this type of trends, you follow the trends because the altcoins market will not grow like in tandem like it used to grow like all the altcoins. So money will move from like one altcoin to another, from one niche to another. And you, if you want really if you really have like low amount of money, maybe you have like a big amount of time because otherwise you cannot have like small amount of money, small amount of time, small amount of knowledge. You will not do anything. But if you compensate with a big amount of time and effort, then you can go like on chain or like with some meme coins when the market is right for this, and you put like a lot of effort there, and you can make differences. But if you're just like a random investor who buys like a little bit of Arbitrum, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and you don't want to buy Bitcoin because it's boring, but you don't put like a lot of effort into really making it with a good ROI in crypto, then you are just in the middle and you will lose. So you are either like the guy which has a good diversification and balance of the portfolio, um, or the other side, the guy which said, okay, I don't want Bitcoin, I don't want diversification, I just want to make like a lot of money and I can risk it, I can risk for this. Then you don't go for the boring investments like Arbitrum, and Arbitrum it's an okay project. I'm not trying to hate on it. It's just like iconic for like people. I think it's an iconic altcoin which people usually can have in the portfolio. So if you are going for this like random altcoins and you want that level of high returns, it's no longer happening. If you want altcoins, high returns, you have to go
So
in this.
S&P for altcoins, it's a no-go.
Sorry?
So an S&P for altcoins is a no-go. I mean, like a basket of altcoins.
I think no. I think no. As long as we have this dilution, just imagine how much money you have to bring to crypto just to pump this S&P. Um, Maybe if you buy like top 20, you will be okay-ish. But I think a viewer who has this opinion, which you told me before, he wants to make money and somehow fast and from a small amount of money. And the only answer to this is, of course, to risk quite big and go to this either on chain, either memes, and specialize on one thing and do it very, very good. And maybe we don't have like a trend now, but focus on finding new trends. The past months, people were trading stocks because they get bored of crypto because crypto is not going up. I don't know which will be the next thing. Maybe trading robotics, longing robotics companies, or who knows.
Okay.
But I
Metals.
think just last thing, I think we have to be like realistic because otherwise we will just go with optimism, and we have like a basket of random altcoins which we heard like somewhere, and we are just waiting with optimism. This doesn't help because of this dilution. Okay, you can wait with Bitcoin a few years, you will be fine. Or you can stay all day in crypto with this risky stuff or like on chain, meme coins, BRC20 or some other trends which will come in the future. And probably we will be okay if you really master this.
Okay. Okay. Last part. Dumitru, do you want to add something at the end of 2025?
Okay, I was looking into S&P and some individual stocks like blue chips, of course, not the altcoins of S&P. But there is an interesting market for energy and for metals, precious metals to be more specific. Yeah, I wouldn't say go now and buy silver or gold after they reach their all-time highs, but maybe wait for a correction next year. Who knows? And what we can see, what we can expect, maybe until the end of the decade, the metals to outperform the S&P. What do you think about that? Like gold, silver, maybe uranium, platinum, to outperform the S&P until the end of the decade?
Good question. I don't have metals in my portfolio. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I don't master this market of metals, commodities, and stuff. I don't even have much a big part of individual stocks in my portfolio. I think I have like around 10%. So I think I'm also realistic in this way, and also diversified. Realistic because I know that I don't know much about metals and their cycles and whatever. Realistic because I understand that individual stocks can go a lot higher than S&P, but I don't have the time and the passion to research them. And also I'm realistic because I know that lower than 10% of the investors who go to stock picking will outperform S&P 500 in the long term. So until now, what I chose to do was to uh, focus my time of research in crypto because I like it more, and I think I have an edge here compared to researching, I don't know, Tesla and some other ones. Of course, I have some individual stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, and some other ones, which I know the companies, I use the product, I tested the product, and I have some of them. But apart from this, I don't have a big passion in researching stocks, and then I just stick mainly to S&P. Now getting back to your question, yeah, I think there is a possibility metals can outperform S&P, but it's not my area of expertise, so I don't really know what to answer, and that's why I didn't focus my portfolio in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay,
just think it
so
makes sense to have some, just in case.
Yes, long term, like in the next years, when I see like a correction in metals, it's part of the plan because okay, we are getting older, more mature. We want some safety also, some extra safety.
Some shiny little stuff.
Sorry?
We are
Yes, yes,
getting
yes.
older, we need some shiny little stuff.
Yeah, shiny on the other way because shiny objects are the altcoins, but I get what you said. Yes, at some point I will also want to build a part of my portfolio with precious metals, but for now it was not it was not my focus there. Of course, I didn't expect gold to pump really this much and this hard. Just imagine like 1 year ago, gold was like that boring asset which nobody wanted to buy, and it was like for old people. If I didn't buy like 1 year ago, I don't want to buy right now at all-time high. So I will wait for like the next cycle to let it cool down a little bit. I'll get a little bit older. I want a little bit more safety, and probably that will be the moment when these two things will intersect. And I will be older. I will want more safety, and maybe gold will have like a correction, and that will be the moment when I will also add it to my portfolio.
you are very patient for someone who's involved in crypto.
I was not like this, but you in crypto you get like a lot of losses, and after some time you understand that hurrying and making like a lot of moves, it's not really more profitable. So of course, one part of my patience comes from having like not a $100 portfolio, let's say like this. But that's not the entire reason for the decision, because sometimes the boring stuff and the boring decisions can be the good ones. So don't just look like after the shiny after the shiny decisions. Of course, you have to adapt a little bit to the size of your portfolio, but yeah, I still think that if you have like a lower portfolio, going all in on altcoins was never the way to go, and I think it will never be the way to go.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dumitru, Vlad. It was a cool conversation. I think everyone who's listening will have a lot of lessons, a lot of wisdom to get from this. Yeah, happy to have you. Thank you for your time. Enjoy
Thank you, me.
your holidays, and yeah, see you again soon.
Yeah,
Thanks. Let's
thank you, and
catch up
Merry
soon and
Christmas.
have some nice holidays and a productive next year.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. See you around.
Bye bye.